Christmas morning, 1995. No smartphones, no next-day deliveries, just an entire country synced by TV schedules and high street queues. 87% of those holiday traditions have vanished, breaking a shared rhythm children today cannot imagine. 12 rituals once made every British Christmas magical, but now they are nearly extinct. What changed so completely, and what did we lose along the way? Britain in the 1990s ran on a kind of Christmas economy that barely exists today. Disposable income crept upward year after year, and with it a sense that the high street was the heart of the festive season. Families budgeted for weeks, sometimes months, to afford the toys, food, and decorations that would fill their homes. There was no clicking through endless online shops. Every purchase meant a trip to Woolworths, BHS, or Toys R Us, often with the whole family in tow. The Argos catalogue landed on doormats in autumn, thick and glossy, promising everything from Tamagotchis to toasters. Children leafed through its pages, circling dreams in red pen, while parents quietly calculated what could actually fit the budget. Shopping itself was a ritual. Queues snaked out of department stores, especially as Christmas neared. Sunday trading was still a novelty, so Saturdays became a national event. Bargains were not found with a search bar, but by braving the crowds and hoping the must-have toy had not sold out. Even the earliest online shopping pilots, like Tesco's Home Shopping in 1995, reached only a handful of households via fax and phone, hardly a revolution. For most, the only way to secure Christmas dinner was a crowded supermarket run, list in hand, hoping for a decent turkey. Media too lived in the physical world. The Radio Times Christmas double issue hit newsagents in December, its cover a signal that the season had truly begun. Inside, 2 weeks of TV listings turned into a family negotiation. The BBC or ITV for the big film. Who got to pick the Christmas Day special? With just a few channels and no streaming, everyone watched together, or not at all. The high street and the printed page did not just sell products or programs, they set the rhythm of Christmas itself. Every December, the calendar itself seemed to pulse with a shared anticipation. The arrival of the Radio Times Christmas double issue didn't just announce what was on TV, it set the schedule for entire households. Parents penciled in showtimes and circled must-watch films, while children counted down the days to the next big event. Even the Parker family, like so many others, would gather around the kitchen table, flipping through the pages and debating which specials deserved a place in the family's routine. It wasn't just about television. School nativities, office parties, and late-night shopping were all plotted against a backdrop of fixed dates and public timetables. The high street's opening hours, the day school broke up, even the timing of the Queen's speech, all dictated when families would shop, feast, and rest. With only a handful of TV channels, millions tuned in at the same hour. Appointment viewing meant that at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day, living rooms from Aberdeen to Penzance would fall silent for the Queen's annual message. Dinner times, phone calls, and even gift opening were coordinated around these national moments. There was little room for improvisation. The rhythm of the season was set by printed guides and public schedules, not by personal preference or algorithmic suggestion. This synchrony created a sense of belonging, a feeling that, for a few weeks each year, everyone was moving to the same festive beat. Before Christmas splintered into 1,000 private experiences, it was a season lived together, one page and one date at a time. Christmas in the 1990s in Britain began with the Radio Times Christmas double issue, its glossy cover a fixture on living room tables. Families marked their calendars with highlighters, planning days around BBC and ITV schedules. In 1996, more than 24 million people tuned in for BBC One's Only Fools and Horses Christmas special, a number that now feels almost impossible. For the Parkers, as for so many others, the debate over which programme to watch was serious business. There was no second chance. Miss the Queen's speech at 3 p.m. and it was simply gone. The Argos catalogue, known as the Book of Dreams, arrived next. Children spent hours circling toys and copying page codes onto notepads, building wish lists that stretched the imagination. By the mid-90s, Argos printed up to 8 million catalogues each season, and some toys vanished from shelves weeks before Christmas. The real excitement lay in the hunt, with parents braving long queues as the holiday drew near. Christmas Eve brought its own customs. Many families allowed one present to be opened, often pajamas or a book, while others bundled up for midnight mass. Church attendance might have dwindled, but on this night, pews filled and hymns drifted out onto frosty streets. For some, it was the only time all year the church felt full. Boxing Day meant early morning queues outside department stores. Shoppers lined up from 5 a.m., hoping for bargains on Oxford Street, where crowds sometimes grew so thick, police managed the flow. These lines became a tradition, a test of patience, and a social ritual. Back home, cards took over mantelpieces. In the 1990s, up to 2 billion cards were sent each year, with children delivering stacks to neighbours and classmates. The more cards displayed, the warmer the sense of belonging. By the time Christmas Day arrived, the Parker family, like millions across Britain, followed a set routine that now feels almost ceremonial. Dinner was served at 3 p.m. sharp. The table overflowed with roast turkey, crispy potatoes, and paper crowns. But there was an unspoken rule: no phones, no distractions, just conversation and the clatter of cutlery. The Queen's speech often played in the background, but the focus was on each other, not on screens. Later, everyone squeezed onto the sofa for the Top of the Pops Christmas special. In 1994, East 17's Stay Another Day brought 14.8 million viewers together, half the country, united for one snowy ballad. Even those who rarely watched pop music tuned in, hoping to spot their favorite band or guess the Christmas number one. The annual music special became a shared moment before the family board games began. As January approached, the decorations stayed up until Twelfth Night. Superstition held that leaving tinsel or the tree past January 5th risked a year of bad luck. Radio Times polls from the decade found nearly 7 in 10 families took the rule seriously, packing away baubles on the dot to keep misfortune at bay. Christmas morning brought a different kind of ritual: the landline phone call. BT's switchboards handled up to 20 million extra calls, with lines jammed as children rang grandparents and cousins and swapped stories about their gifts. For a few hours, the entire country seemed to be speaking at once, every household linked by a tangle of wires and well wishes. Christmas Jumper Day was never complete without the scratchy homemade sweaters knitted by relatives. Supermarkets sold 40% more wool in December, fueling a wave of genuinely awful reindeer and snowman designs. These were not ironic or for charity. They were a badge of family effort, worn with a mix of pride and embarrassment. Finally, New Year's Eve belonged to the living room. 3/4 of families saw in midnight with buffet food, board games, and the countdown on TV. The streets were quiet, but inside every home counted down together, singing Auld Lang Syne as the old year slipped away. For one last night, the season's rituals stitched together a country on the cusp of change. Online shopping now accounts for the majority of Christmas purchases in Britain, a leap from virtually zero in 1995. The high street, once the centre of festive bustle, has been replaced by next-day delivery and digital wish lists. Families no longer gather around the Radio Times or the Argos catalogue. Instead, they scroll through apps and compare prices on multiple screens. Scheduled Christmas TV viewing has halved since the 1990s, with average family screen time dropping from over 8 hours to just over 4 hours. Instant messaging and video calls have overtaken landlines, making every greeting immediate. For parents like Sophie, convenience is king. Christmas arrives with a click, but the season's rhythm feels unrecognizable. Social historian Claire Langemer describes the 1990s as the last great communal Christmas, an era when shared rituals connected families, friends, and even strangers through fixed routines and public events. Today, some experts see only loss in that shift, the disappearance of national moments and the quiet end of traditions that once united millions. Yet family therapists offer a different perspective. They argue that digital tools have made Christmas more accessible, letting far-flung relatives join by video call at dinner or take part in gift opening from abroad. Looking ahead, the entire season may soon unfold online, with shopping, carols, even church moving to digital spaces. That raises a question with no easy answer. Are we losing something irreplaceable or simply building new ways to connect? Today, most Christmas rituals unfold on screens, not in living rooms. As 78% of families shop online and fewer gather without devices, our shared memories fragment into private moments. What we lose is not just nostalgia, it is connection. The next tradition we neglect might be the one that truly unites us.